Hi everyone, Mark Hecht coming to you from an undisclosed location in Victoria somewhere. In the last video, I had talked about corruption, and I said most politicians in Canada, we know, everyone knows the politicians in Canada, the vast majority of them have been corrupted in some way. You know, whether it's through bribery, whether it's through blackmail, or whether it's through, well, somebody has threatened to inflict some sort of personal harm on either them or family or friends. And so the question then is, well, Mark, why is it that you would not be corrupted in politics? And the answer to that is, it's a difficult question trying to defend yourself against something you haven't actually done. But I can tell you there are two ways I cannot be corrupted, and there's one way that I could possibly be corrupted. So the first two ways that I cannot be corrupted, the first one is bribery. It doesn't matter how much money you give me, I do not care. Now, I can just say that and you'd have to believe me, but the question is really, okay, are you actually serious? You could not be corrupted for money? Because the saying is anybody can be corrupted. And apparently it takes about, I read this somewhere, it takes about $50,000 on average to corrupt your general politician or bureaucrat, which is not a lot of money, actually, if you think about it. Anyway, so why can I not be corrupted? And I had trouble answering this question myself until a friend pointed out, and she said, well, look, what would you do if you had $50 million, Mark? And I said, well, that's pretty easy. I'd just buy as much land as I could, as much natural land, and protect it in some sort of way, a park or a covenant or whatever it might be. So $50 million to buy a whole bunch of land, to protect it, natural land, natural habitat, and allow people access to it. I mean, that's one of the major things in my life, is protecting natural habitats. And she said, well, there's your answer. That's why you can't be corrupted. And it's like, what are you talking about? And she said, well, look at what you just said. You didn't say you would buy an island. You didn't say you'd pay off somebody's mortgage. You didn't say you'd buy a fancy new car. You didn't say any of these things. You said you would buy land to protect it and for people to have access to it. So that's probably the best answer I can give you, is when it comes to money, it doesn't matter to me that much. It really doesn't. I mean, if I had, you know what, I'm sitting in the vehicle that I want. If I had excess money, it's not like I'd go out and buy a Lamborghini or change this vehicle. I love the vehicle I have. That's fine. It's not showy. It's not ostentatious. So money doesn't matter to me that much. It really doesn't. So I can't be corrupted through money. So the other way is, well, how about through blackmail? You know, there's always, think about the things in life that you do not want the public to know about you. Everybody has something like that in their life. And at the end of the day, you know, there's things that I don't really want the public to know, but if it comes out, oh well. And one of the things I think about in this respect is a story about, there was a French, so during the Cold War between, you know, the West and the East, there was a great story of a French spy who ended up having an affair, and the Russians got pictures of this. They got pictures of this guy having this affair. And so the Russians threatened him and said, look, we're going to expose the pictures we have unless you do what we want you to do. And this French guy, you know, being typically French and taking on this blackmail threat, essentially said, great, you've got pictures of me having sex with a beautiful woman? Publish those as quickly as you possibly can. And could you send me a copy of them too? So anyway, so that would be my response. Any sort of blackmail, I just face it head on. No problem. I'm not worried about that. But there is a third area where I am susceptible to corruption, I have to admit. And that is threats of physical violence. Not to myself. I really don't care if I die. I know most people care if they die, but that's not actually a big thing for me. Anyway, but what does matter to me is friends and family. So if anyone threatened to harm friends and family, I have to admit that is one area. You might want to keep this video for posterity. That's probably one area where I could potentially be corrupted. Threats against family and friends. That would be pretty tough, actually. And so this is one way of just saying all politicians are susceptible to corruption. They're susceptible in different ways. I actually think our Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, now I have to be careful with this because I'm stepping on libelous grounds now, but I have to be careful with this. In how I say this, so I should say it carefully. Let me think about this before I just blurt it out. But I have suspicions that the Prime Minister of our country has been blackmailed. And the reason I have that suspicion is he's doing and saying things that do not seem normal. And there was actually a moment in time where you could see his personality switch very quickly. And I'll have to dig up the date, but you can actually see when he first started as a politician, he had speeches that were really quite good and engaging. He had a little bit of a lisp, but that's okay. And then one day it switched and his lisp suddenly amplified and his entire demeanor changed. And we've seen this. Look at it from the beginning of his prime ministership to now. He's a different man. There's something going on behind the scenes. I think he's been blackmailed. And I don't think it has to do with his relationship with his wife. I mean, that's part of it. But I think our prime minister may have been blackmailed. Now, by who exactly? I don't know. But this is a long way of saying I, for the most part, cannot be corrupted through bribery, cannot be corrupted through blackmail, through physical violence to friends and family. Yeah, I'm susceptible to that. Having said that, I still need to get into Ottawa and I need to help clean up this place. There's a credible slate of candidates for the People's Party of Canada. Some really great people that really care about this country, and we're looking for your support. Anyway, that's it for now. Thank you.